Hey everyone, I hope all of you had an amazing day today and welcome back to Theonopolis, where today we will be mostly building plants, but also a small waterfall and a small dam, but it will mostly be a plant-filled episode today. And also, if you're here from Planet Zoo and are like, this isn't Osaru, what am I watching? This is Planetcoaster, or more specifically Theonopolis, which is the Asian Grecian park, which basically started off my whole channel. So yeah, we're 68 episodes in, so I understand if it's like a little bit daunting to, watch, because, well, if you started the 68th episode, I can kind of see where you would be like, alright, I've missed too much, this is too late to get into. So if you want to get into Theonopolis, which I would be very happy to, but I do understand if you're just here like for Planet Zoo. But if you want to get into Theonopolis, I would actually suggest going to the 50th episode and not the first. The first few episodes I can't watch right now because I just cringe a little bit too hard. Like, they're very embarrassing, at least for me. I was very scared and very, let's just say, I was still trying to be like, have some useful commentary. Now I've just completely thrown that out of the window and just enjoy myself while basically rambling on. Anyway, so yeah, if you are here from Planet Zoo and are staying, yay! Thank you! That sounds very weird to say, but anyways, if you are here for Planet Zoo and you're like, alright, this is not really my cup of tea, I completely understand it, and I still hope you have an amazing day. I probably should talk about what I'm building right now, where we are basically continuing or somewhat finishing the small farmhands village. And I actually have, like, I don't know if you guys could help me with this, but you see on the other side of the water where there's nothing. I was kind of thinking like, oh, should I like expand the village a little bit, because now it's like 3 houses and it's also completely in the shadow of like the big windmill-ish thing. So yeah, should I expand it or should I just make more fields there? Let me know down below, because I could go either way. But now to actually give a little bit of like, why is today a plant-filled episode? Because I couldn't help myself and wait until like the last episode, which I actually planned to do, and I just wanted to basically seed all the fields. That sounds very wrong, but it's a little bit of what we're doing. We're basically planting all of the fields today. Because, I don't know, like it was very weird to go back into Theonopolis after like a week of Planet Zoo, and so I thought like, alright, I want to start off with something that I really wanted to do, just to, get back into the Theonopolis groove, and yeah, I just started building plants. Luckily though, I basically even before, like, not completely before, but somewhat like at the start of the river rapids that we're building, basically singled out one plant that, if colored right, looked like grain, or barley, or some type of grain. And then luckily I could just completely fill the fields with it and rotate it of course a little bit, so that's not like just static rows, because I mean, if you always, or at least I always have the image of like when ancient or like medieval, or just like before machines did it, when you were seeding fields you would just throw the seeds onto the ground. So I doubt that there would be like some kind of like rows or something to the plants. Also, plants just don't, they don't grow where you want them to grow. Or I just have very bad experience with plants. Anyway, so yes, today will mostly be just, building up the fields, building up all the plant life surrounding the place, which I'm really happy with, because, well, you also quickly see me pan over to other sections of Theonopolis just to get that one plant, because I forgot to, make the colors into like, when you have, I think, yeah, you also have this in Planet Zoo, but in Planetcoaster for everyone coming from Plan 2 that is still here, which again, kudos to you, because this is a completely different team that we're building, completely different game and such. But yeah, you have like, if you pick a color, it stays as like a swatch. And yeah, the color that I needed was gone. Also, yeah, we're building a quick little like, well, I want to say date farm, but it's like 3 trees, so it's not really a date farm. It's just like these trees are, well, basically filling up this space. It's too small for a grain farm, so let's have some date trees with, or date palms, not date trees, but date palms. But yeah, I was actually surprised that date palms grew or still grow in, well, I want to say Crete, which is correct because they grow on the island of Crete. But I don't know for sure if they also grow in the rest of Greece, but I do know that they grow on Crete. Which I'm still surprised by, because, I mean, Greece isn't like the most fertile place in the world when it comes to like soil. So yeah. But in a way, it's sort of unrealistic, but also somewhat realistic that all the grain fields are not huge. Like, they're just small space patches of land that are filled with grain, which is somewhat realistic because, like, you know, it might not be the most fertile land, so like all the fertile patches are like full with grain. But then in between you have like rocks and, you know, wild lands, as I would say, to basically fill, well, to divide between the fields. Though I still think that, well, the big mansion that we've built as the station building is probably like the owner of all the fields, and the farmhands just like are allowed to live near the fields, which sounds really weird, but might be true. Also, yes, for that certain someone who probably knows right now that she should not go on this ride, yeah, there's a waterfall here. Yeah, I always had the idea to have a waterfall here because, well, the ride goes like on the top row and then the lower thing is very close to each other, so I just thought like, alright, a waterfall here would look very nice, but also you wouldn't have to like make up like, oh, the water just comes out of the ground here. So yeah, you for that certain special someone who just don't go on this ride, but yeah, if you do, you are going to get soaked. Also by the dam, which we are going to build later. Also, quick to point out, like usually when I build for Theonopolis, or actually for any game, like I usually build for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes max. And then you can actually see that in the video, because then it will like quickly just shoot off to a different place that we are building. And you might see that today we are basically just not like that quick, well, I would say transition, but there's no transition, it's just like poof and we're on a different place. But today it's a little bit different because I don't know why, but I first thought like, oh, you know, we're going for Planet 2, which by most standards is a better game than Planetcoaster. But I thought like, oh, you know, I wouldn't have any inspiration when going back to Planetcoaster because, you know, I spent so much time in Planet 2 right now. And no. I basically spent like 50, no, not even 50, a whole hour just building this without any breaks, which I don't recommend. I recommend breaks at least. But yeah, so today there's like, I think like two, yeah, there are two, how do I say this, just two stops between, or not, just one, yeah, I'm just going to stop. I'm not going to get in, or not going to get it right, so it will just be mumbling, which is, yeah. Let's just say 2 trains of footage instead of like 5. Yeah, that's like the best way to explain it right now. And that's probably not even really correct. But yeah, so for the lift hills, like the first lift hill was very like, well, was really man-made. Here it's still a bit man-made, but I wanted to have like the nature just going over it. And again, like adding nature to a thing like beforehand, like in the first 3 episodes of, or maybe even 4 episodes, like I have the brain of a goldfish or a squirrel, so I don't remember all of it, especially with Planet Zoo around, but yeah, it was a very bare place, and now it's actually like very friendly, like very like live and or lively and like organic, which is weird too if you look at like how the ride actually goes. But anyway, we are building the dam now, which, you know, I first thought like, alright, I'm going to put more waterfalls here, but then I thought like, no, I want something different. I still want water though, but I'm going to build that later, which you're going to see. And again, that special someone is not going to be happy with that, because water. Yeah, I think you might already realize how dam, water, and getting soaked on a river rapids is going to work. However, maybe not. So might be a surprise for you. Also, I'm going to just immediately say I'm not the best at triggers. I'm actually happy that in Planet Zoo, triggers aren't really special. Or at least they are not as, well, I would say difficult, but not as like expensive and like, well, game-changing as they are in Planetcoaster. Because triggers or like effects in Planetcoaster could do a lot of things. Yeah, you could basically just build a tornado or hurricane or basically just anything. I was actually surprised that there were no fire effects in Planet Zoo. I wanted fire effects. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I wanted to make like my own like lightings and such with actual fire. I hope we get those in the full game. Though I can kinda see why we don't have them, because, you know, danger, because people like to play with fire. That might be the reason why they kept it away from me. Actually, I am not really the one to play with fire. Yeah. I probably should talk about Planetcoaster again, or like Theonopolis, or what we're building. Like anything related to the video. But yeah, basically for them, I wanted it to be small, not look like the most pristine. So it's completely made out of wood. Well, except for the base, because the base actually just, you know, kind of curves so that it goes a little bit with the terrain, so that the water doesn't like just smash it. But again, there's going to be a water feature to this dam, and again, that certain special someone is not going to be happy with it, or will just laugh our socks off. Maybe both. But yeah, even though you can't see like the water reservoir behind it, I just wanted to put it in there just because, I don't know. This is another reason, like, I don't take Planetcoaster or Planet Zoo for like the zoo aspect or the theme park aspect. I just want to build stuff. And having rides or coasters or animals with them is just an extra. Though animals I like a little bit more than coasters, because I hate building, well, I wouldn't say hate, but I don't like building like, well, buildings that have to sort of give way to coasters. You know, that the building is like submissive to the coaster. That's probably the wrong word for it, but somehow my squirrel brain went that way. But yeah, I just want my buildings to have like precedence. So yeah. Now with rides you can get like buildings that just dominate the ride. Mansion still does. All the windmills that are built for this ride still does. So yeah. Theonopolis, again, like I've said this probably 1,000 times, but again, if you're new here from Planet Zoo, you probably wouldn't have heard that, but most of the things I built are like built for the views. And Yeah, it's still true to this day. Like, if I can't take a screenshot from it and think like, alright, this looks perfect, then I need to change stuff. The dam still looks, well, it doesn't look the prettiest, but it looks, you know, like the fireman's made it. Like, it's completely made out of wood. It's mostly like wooden, well, beams, but not like the, well, blocky beams, just the beams. Beams, not beans, beams. My head is going everywhere right now. But yeah, you might already see with the scaffolding that, again, you might already know what is going to happen when you pass alongside the dam. But this is also going to be probably the first time that I do like trigger or effect work on video, because usually that takes so long, but now I just like, alright, let's put it in there. It actually went somewhat correct like the first time I tried. But yeah, it's actually still a dam under construction. And just, again, if you're new here from Planet 2, the effects and all the movable objects, or like the objects that actually moved, were, well, they are a big part of making rides and such. But yeah, if you guessed that the dam would break before, well, actually seeing the dam break, kudos to you. Also, yes, I played the game just to see like, alright, which part of the boat gets soaked. And yeah, you get soaked on both sides on this ride, so you're not safe on any side of the boat. Unless you're like me and you're like trying to move the boat, which I don't know why I do that, because it probably doesn't work like that, but I still, you know, when you're on a river rapids and you're like almost going into like the waterfall section, which most river rapids have, I always try to wiggle around in my seat and move the boat so that I don't get wet. I know that doesn't work because that boat is like 10 times as heavy as me, but yeah, I still try it. And to this point, still haven't gotten soaked in a river rapids ride, or basically any ride involving water. So I think I'm still either I'm blessed, or the technique of wiggling around works, or just the rest surrounding me is cursed. Maybe both. But yeah. So I'm also using like the rose bushes that are also recolorable. Like, that's one thing that I might dislike a little bit more in Planet 2, is that none of the plants are recolorable, but then if you go for realism, that also works in Planet 2's favor, because then you get the actual plants, because in Planetcoaster all of the plants are somewhat recolorable, so you can use rose bushes as weeds, or just like, well, yeah, also like the white bushes or the white plants, well, white plants, the bushes with the white flowers, they are all over Theonopolis, and here I just completely solidified that those are weeds in Theonopolis. And you can't really do that in Planet Zoo with plants, because the plants actually look like the plants in real life, and you can't color them. Though I do hope that more of the building pieces in Planet Zoo are going to be recolorable, because most, if not almost all of the building pieces in Planetcoaster are recolorable. And that makes it able to like build Grecian stuff, because, well, you can also build Grecian stuff without recoloring things. But yeah, back to everything is built for the views. You might have seen this in, well, most of the buildings of the dam, but I usually just pan back and look at it from a distance and then think like, alright, if I place this tree here, it will make the dam look tiny, so I don't place that tree there. Or I need to sink the tree into the ground. Yeah. And also just building more of like the reservoir behind the dam. Again, you can't see this from the ride, but then again, I know it's there, and I'm happy that it actually looks like an actual dam. That it breaks every time a boat comes near it. And I'm really happy with that, because I think it's the last section where you get actually like... No, actually I'm lying. You're probably going to get soaked that's another section that I'm going to build in the next video. Yeah, the rest of the video is mostly just filling out the remaining fields with grain, and I'm really happy that I've done this, because right now I'm just like full of inspiration for Planetcoaster again. And the place doesn't look as dead. Yeah, this might have been from Planet Zoo, where I just constantly built trees and built every plant available to me. And again, if you're here for Planet Zoo and aren't, well, first of all, again, kudos if you haven't clicked away, because this is nothing like Planet Zoo, though it is still the same building aspect to it. But yeah, Planet Zoo is still coming again. I hope either to get it out right after this video or the next day. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, I hope to see you back in the next one. I hope and wish you all an amazing day, and bye bye.